I'm Michelle Anderson from Clarinet Mentors, doing my annual summertime introduction outside as I take a break from practicing. I have a great video lesson to share with you today that will help you get your fingers more light and more smooth on the clarinet, especially when you're playing beautiful slow music. Now this is actually an excerpt from an upcoming course I'm working on that's due out later in 2015 called How to Play Clarinet More Easily. But when I was going through the edits, I really thought of all of you in the Clarinet Mentors community. I think this one lesson is valuable and it's worth kind of sharing with the whole world. So in a minute, I'll switch over to the clip from my course. It does reference a worksheet, and for your convenience, the exercise that I demonstrate in the video you can find as a printout, as a PDF in the write-up right below this video. I hope you enjoy this, and I look forward to hearing from you if you have any comments about this video. There's another fingering exercise I want to introduce you to. That's one more tool to help train your hands to move more gently and to achieve really smooth legato fingering. Now this comes from the school of training from Daniel Bonade, and Daniel Bonade was a very influential teacher about 100 years ago, and he taught at the Paris Conservatory, many other places, and has written some excellent books that still hold true today on some really solid clarinet technique. But he had a series of finger exercises that have been passed down and slightly evolved and changed over the years, but the one I'm going to show you now really does come from that school of thought, even if it may have been slightly altered as it's been handed down over the years from person to person. It's a great exercise to work on. And it's another exaggerated exercise that helps train our fingers to ultimately end up smoother and more gentle on the clarinet all the time. So we're going to move our fingers in a way that we're not so accustomed to. Instead of just putting our fingers down as we play the notes, we're going to do a really exaggerated movement. So I'm just looking at my first finger here. Before I put it down, I'm going to move it in a big circle, up and then down. Big circle. So I'm going to turn my clarinet at sort of a funny angle here so you can see my finger. So it's going to look like this. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up. So it's a giant circle. You know, the exaggerated version is it comes up and we hit the bottom of the circle when we hit that hole. Our fingers want to do this. Up, up, around, smack. So that last little bit's where we want to smack. So you really need to concentrate to bring it down lightly on the clarinet. Most people, when they first try this, their fingers miss the holes, they get leaks, all sorts of weird things happen. That's normal and that's okay. It's almost like we're just training it to do a certain type of movement. As we practice it over time, you will be able to get it so that your fingers do land gently and in slow motion, but they do cover the holes. But even if they don't, it's an effective exercise. I want you to trust me on this. I highly recommend that you add these for at least a week, maybe even 2 weeks. And you'll find that by doing it regularly, it does start to train your brain and your fingers to work a little bit differently together. So looking at the Smooth Fingers worksheet, I might take the very first exercise. Actually, I'll take number 2, so I'm in the high register. And I might just go down one note at a time, and I'm really moving in slow motion. So it would look something like that. And then I could do that one many times, that one interval, or I could carry on to the next one. For now, I'm just going to jump from one to the next so that you can kind of see what my fingers are doing. Now that one didn't come down so cleanly. That's okay. It did come down in slow motion. But I might try it again to get it cleaner. Even when we're adding those pinky keys, we want to come down in slow motion. So that's the exercise. every single exercise on the Smooth Fingers worksheet could and should be done using this approach. It gets harder if we take a look at, for example, I'm taking a look at exercise 6, where I'm moving 2 fingers at once. Well, in that case, they're both going to be making this large circular motion. So it takes a little while to get the feel of that and to have it feel comfortable, but it's fabulous to do. There are many well-trained orchestral players who will actually use this as a performance technique, and you'll mostly see it when they're playing something very slow and very legato, but you'll see their fingers moving that way. For me, I tend to think of it as a warm-up, just to bring that awareness of what my fingers are doing. When I'm actually playing, I don't do it so much, although I have to say, now that I'm videotaping myself regularly, I notice that I do use this sometimes, not consciously, but just because I've trained my fingers to do it. And that makes me excited, because I think all of the things we do as our warm-up on a consistent basis then start to become an unconscious habit, but an unconscious good habit. One of your goals should always be to get rid of unconscious bad habits and replace them with unconscious good habits, which is going to make us to be a much better player. All right, thank you so much for watching today's video lesson, and I have an invitation for you. First of all, I do love to hear from you. If you have any comments, or perhaps you've learned the Bonade fingerings and you might have a variation on it that I didn't share with you today, please write your comments below. I do check them every week and add my own comments and answer your questions. And also, if you're not already a member of my Clarinet Mentors community, please join me. It's totally free. You simply go to www.learnclarinetnow.com and sign up. Once you're a member, you'll get a newsletter from me about every 2 or 3 weeks that will have an educational video like today's. But aside from the video, I also share all kinds of clarinet information with you. I might find a great new music book, or a type of reed, or ligature, or instrument, or something that I think you'd be interested in, and I'll make sure I share it with you in my newsletter. If it's not a good fit for you, you can unsign up easily at any time. Thanks again for watching today's video. Hope you're having a great summer, and I look forward to hearing from you and sharing more clarinet ideas with you in the future.